This video is part 3 of the 59F ACT practice test corrections. It's just one problem in this video, so it should be relatively short. With the problems that have been covered so far with the elementary algebra and intermediate algebra, I'll be sending you some example questions from each topic. That way you have a chance to practice and make sure you're really getting what's going on. If you're still not fully understanding one of the particular problem types, for example, the circle equations, you may not have seen that before, that's totally fine. Just make sure to make a note of it and we'll go over it when we have our next tutoring session. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into number 49. So we're asked, what is the value of log of 2 base 8? And that's how we'd say this, so I'll write it up so you can see how we say it. You'd say log of 8 base 2 is the way you'd say that. Now, to answer this question, we need to understand how log works and why it's referencing this word base. Now, if you remember back to it's probably pre-algebra or algebra 1, you learned about how when you write an exponent or a number in exponential form, you have a base and it's raised to some exponent. When we say base, it's literally talking about the number that you put as your base. So we're told that we have a base of 2. So that means we have 2 to some power. And it's apparently giving us this value of 8. So it's a log of 8. So then we have a value of 8. So when you say log of 8 base 2, it's asking 2 to what power gives you 8? So let's see. Does 2 to the 4th power give you 8? Meaning 2 times 2 times 2 times 2? Well, let's see. So if I do 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, it gives me 4 right there, and then another 4. So I have 4 times 4, that's 16, so that doesn't do it. But in fact, it is A. It's to the 3rd power, because if I multiply 2 to itself 3 times, 2 times 2 times 2, I have 2, 4, 8. And that is literally how you do these problems with a log and a base value. Logs and exponents kind of move opposite to one another, just like addition and subtraction and multiplication and division are opposites in a way, they're inverses. So you can use this log information to set up and solve your problem. I'll do one quick example in here because, again, I have time now, so I'm not in too much of a rush. So as a quick example of this, let's say we had log of 125 base 5. Well, this is saying the same thing as, remember I said base 5, so 5 to some power, we don't know what it is, equals 125. Now we can't divide by 5, we can't take the square root of 5, we have to think through what's going to 5 to what power gives us 125. So typically with these problems, if they're on the ACT, they're pretty straightforward. They're not going to make it too complicated. So in this case, if we check it out, we would say that, well, if I have just 5 to the 1st power, I get 5. If I have 5 to the 2nd power, that means 5 times 5, which gives me 25. And then if I do 5 to the 3rd power, let's see what we get there. So that's 25 times 5, so it's like 5 quarters. It gives me $1.25. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we'd say, well, we know 5 cubed gives us 125. So guess what log of 125 base 5 is? You've got it. We'd say that our question mark, what we're looking for, equals 3. So we'd say, I'm going to write it in full form here so you can see it all together, that log of 125 base 5 equals 3. So it's saying, here's the base, here's the final value, tell me what the exponent is. Okay? So again, with any of these problems that we've gone over so far, let me know and we can discuss them once I return. You've done an amazing job with the problems that were in here so far. There was a lot of topics that we're covering Algebra 2 and pre-calculus, and you hadn't seen that yet formally, but you were able to knock them out quite nicely. So with the problems that are listed here, especially with the intermediate algebra and coordinate geometry, again, these are items that you'll probably end up seeing next year, but now you're learning about them this year. So all the best, and I will see you soon. Bye.